I feel like an alien sometimes when he says that, because we're not one of you.
Yeah, you're from another world.
Another world, right. So I'm not going to talk about, yesterday I talked about, hopefully some of you caught the keynote where I talked about what Newstex does. Today I'm going to talk about how we do it a little bit differently. So we started as a virtual company in 2004, and fast forward 8 years, and we're now called a cloud company. I don't know what the difference between virtual and cloud is, but we're now cloud. And we needed to be a cloud company because we needed to be a low-cost utility. We had to operate as one. So that's what kind of drove us in the very beginning to be a cloud company. And the world is changing in 6-month product and innovation cycles. I'm going to walk you through how Newstex copes with the speed of change and what tools we use to scale and innovate. This model is a little different than probably most of you in the room. We have no offices, and we have no physical assets. So if you financial people out there, I'll say it one more time, we have no physical assets. On our balance sheet, the asset column says 0. By being a cloud company, we can scale when we need to, and we have the luxury of trying ideas or products first and justifying them later, which is a pretty radical concept for most people. Our most important asset is our intellectual property, or our IP, and which we protect with lots of cloud-based systems. And we run our whole business on what we call credit card services, because we typically only take payment with a credit card. So everything we buy, everything, is usually done on a credit card, which is even more stranger. So we have no physical offices. Everyone works out of their home or apartment or condo or sometimes in a tent. And they all supply their own computing equipment. We don't care where they live or what they use for equipment, as long as they can access the internet. Our people are spread all over North America and Europe. And as I said earlier, we have no assets on our balance sheet. That is not my office. It is never that clean. That's just a representation. So we try to hire really smart people and then stay out of their way. We built our technology team by partnering with several universities, including Rochester Institute for Technology, RIT, which is my poster child for today. And we hire computer science students for semester co-op plans. And if they work out, we then offer them full-time jobs. So for technology development, you want to bring in new blood into your organization every 6 months with a different viewpoint. And if you're doing any sort of mobile work, it's even more valuable to have people who are young and have an open mind to what's going on. And we especially like working with universities because it's sort of a try before we buy program. We get to try them out for several semesters before we then end up hiring them. The competition for computer scientists right now, especially in the computer science engineers, is unbelievable. We actually just lost one kid who worked for us for 3 years to a West Coast company who paid him, and this is somebody just coming out of college, a little bit of work experience, and he's getting 6 figures, and he got almost a 6-figure signing bonus to move. So competition is really tough out there to hire anyone with who can breathe mobile, talk mobile, think more mobile. So we based a lot of our product development thinking on a book called The Lean Startup. It's a book by Eric Ries. And these ideas are not limited to startups or small companies. They can be applied to any company or product. And it's a great book. I highly recommend it. If you get nothing out of this presentation today, go read this book. It's all about fostering innovation or change in your organization, and it has started a whole movement, which is called the Lean Startup Movement. If you want to read the book, because you just like to watch videos, Udemy, udemy.com, has a whole course online for free called Lean Startup. And actually, it's from South by Southwest this spring. They filmed a whole day where they basically walked through the entire Lean Startup process. So the principles behind Lean Startup are sort of listed here. The ones we focus the most on are MVP, minimum viable product, learn fast, fail faster, and nail it, then scale it. So it makes no sense to create a perfect product and have your customers reject it. It's better to build a minimum product, refine it, and then scale it. And we use something called the build, measure, learn process, which is part of the Lean Startup process. So you move your whole product through this process. Your product is never done. You're always learning, adding, and fixing. It will never be perfect, which is really hard for some people to grasp, especially in the publishing world. It's never going to be perfect. Give up on it. It's never going to be perfect. And we use the minimal viable product to get the minimum product you can build, and then we enhance it. So we ship MVP products and then scale them based on what we learn from analytics, customer surveys, and one-on-one interviews with actual live customers. Our mobile products that we build receive updates 1 or 2 times a month as we build, measure, and then learn. So I love videos. You gotta bear with me. This is an interview with Eric, very short, that he talks about this whole process.
we have to distinguish between what I call student entrepreneurs and real entrepreneurs. And it's not to denigrate, it's just that when someone is in a classroom trying to learn, hey, do I want to be an entrepreneur? What does it mean to be an entrepreneur? That's where a lot of this theory-based guidance really is helpful. Hey, here's what a business model looks like. Here are the elements of customers and channels and different sales techniques. That's something where someone who's completely new to entrepreneurship, they need all of that guidance. And so those conversations tend to be very theoretical. Actual practicing entrepreneurs, it drives them crazy. Because the truth is, I've never met an entrepreneur, not even one, who doesn't think they already know what their strategy should be. They just happen to be wrong. But you're never going to talk them out of it. I've met people with the strategy that I think is the dumbest. It just makes no sense. It's incoherent. It doesn't meet any of the principles of good business model design or anything. And I've tried arguing them out of it. And the truth is, I've never won one of those arguments, even though generally I've been right. The problem is, when you're an entrepreneur, you've got to believe. And when people are telling you your idea is bad, you've got to ignore that stuff. So what are you supposed to do? Do you just keep going with your dumb strategy? No. The number one thing you want to do as a practicing entrepreneur is, as quickly as possible, put your ideas to the test. To just discover, empirically speaking, does your strategy work the way you think it will? And even if you're completely convinced that you're absolutely right, there's no need for any testing, I always tell people, why don't we just double check? What could be the harm? You're probably 100% right. When you show customers this new quantum teleportation technology that you invented, they'll probably love it. That's great. Let's just go ask them. Let's just go double check that they in fact behave the way that we think they are. And there's one caveat to that. You can't ask customers if they think you have a good idea, because most customers don't know what they want. The trick is, you have to experiment on customers to discover how they behave. And so that's the number one thing to do, is figure out what is the quickest, cheapest, easiest experiment I could run right now that will help me start the process of learning which elements of my idea are brilliant and which ones are probably crazy.
So we take all those principles and apply them to our business, and we run our entire business on something called the Business Cloud. And I've broken this down to 4 areas. I'm going to kind of walk through some examples of each of this. This is sort of the plumbing of how we run our company. So we've got sales and marketing, collaboration, infrastructure, and mobile. So if we go to our first kind of blown up cloud here, which is sales and marketing, we use a lot of different services. We use WordPress to power our websites, FormStack to manage all of our forms. If you come to our site and you want to fill out a form for anything, we use something called FormStack. SurveyMonkey, which I'm sure a lot of you know for customer surveys. Nimble, which is a great customer relationship management system. MailChimp for mailings. Twitter for marketing. So recently we are redesigning our entire website, and we decided that we really wanted to have an explainer video. And explainer videos are everywhere lately. You may not even know you've seen them until I explain to you what they are. And whenever a new product or service is launched, it's usually with an explainer video. Typically, they are animated videos, fun to watch, and of course, pretty short. So here's a quick example of explainer video.
Did you know that according to Nielsen research, the average time spent on a new website is just 56 seconds? So, theoretically, we've got only 50 more seconds to tell you why you're here. Realistically, 6 seconds is enough. The most important moments in your business are those when your product is explained. I am sure you feel like you're doing your best to explain to your customers why they should purchase your product. And yet it seems that your message doesn't reach the majority of people. Why? It's not because people are not smart enough, but because there is too much information sent to them on a daily basis on very outdated, conventional, and, well, let's be honest, boring channels. Like bullet point presentations, text-heavy websites, or videos that are not made the right way. If only you could engage your customers with a mix of animations, illustrations, text, video, and music, all packed together in an engaging and creative story matching your brand identity. If only more of your customers understand your product and get in touch with you. The good news is you can, because this is what we do. You simply send us your product description, and we come back with a bunch of ideas that effectively communicate the essence. You choose which one you like the most. We produce a professional and engaging explaining video that your customers will enjoy watching. You include it on your website and enjoy the increase in sales. It's easy.
So, And you're seeing these now on every website, and these actually work really well. If you look at any analytics, people go to watch a video way more than read text. Believe it or not, women go to videos more than men also, just so you know, which is kind of interesting. So we redesigned our website. We wanted to have some explainer videos about a lot of our products. So we started contacting these vendors. These are kind of the leading explainer video vendors. Hard to believe there are that many. We thought this was a pretty simple thing. So the quotes started coming back, and we were averaging $50,000 per minute of animated video. We almost fell to our chair. We couldn't believe it. And they're getting this. And there's such demand right now for this kind of video. So our next step was, well, we're not doing that. We went to universities, started talking to their computer graphics department, but they didn't have the time. They didn't really understand what we wanted to do. So we started really hunting around and researching. And this is sort of what you have to do when you're in the cloud. So we finally found a company based in London and had their animators based in Budapest. That was only $5,000 for 90 seconds of animated video, a bargain, even though we thought it was still expensive. And so we engaged them to build our first explainer video. We've been in this process 6 weeks of back and forth approving scripts, drawings, characters, colors. You can't believe how involved it is to create that 90-second video. Has taken so much time. So we're going to put it up on our website, and then we're going to start testing. And the approach works. So we think we're going to build more of these things. But if you can figure out a way to do video on your website or any way your mobile apps, anything, you're going to achieve some great results from your customers. People enjoy videos. So our next cloud is collaboration. We use something called Freshdesk, which is a cloud-based ticket management system similar to Zendesk, being a Zendesk. We switched to Freshdesk about 1.5 years ago. Fantastic product and way cheaper than Zendesk. We use Skype for text and voice communication. OnZip is our phone system. We have a virtual phone system, which is based on something called a zip protocol, and I won't go into it unless anyone wants to be really techie. But it allows everybody, wherever they are, to have an extension on our phone system. And we also have lots and lots of intellectual property that we generate from all of our collaboration. So one of the things we struggle with is how do we protect our IP? We think about this day in, day out, especially as we only have 2 employees in our company. I'm not one of them. And the rest are all consultants and contractors. But over the years, we've learned that these contractors are creating the company's IP that we need to protect and preserve. Every email, voicemail, document, spreadsheet, chat session, we want to make sure it stays in our domain. If we need to terminate a contractor, how can we do it with the least bit of disruption to our business cloud? So we spend $50 per employee, contractor, consultant, and freelancer. Anyone that works or represents NewsText has an account. And how do we do that? We do that through Google Apps. And there's Google Apps for Business and Google Apps for Education. And I'm sure some of you use it or use Gmail, but Google Apps is a little bit different animal than Gmail. We set up an email account for every one of our contractors, consultants. We ask each person to use Google Apps for everything they do. All documents are created here. We share calendars, use chat. If a person leaves our company, we forward their mailbox to someone else or change the name for a new person. All this for $50 a year. No administrative costs, no servers, no issues. In fact, most of our people we hire have grown up with Gmail and are thrilled we don't tell them to use Outlook. Flowdock is another team product we use that has a shared team inbox and group chat. We use Flowdock to stay up to date and react in seconds to never forget anything. Flowdock brings activity from our project management tools, our version control systems, our customer feedback channels, and many other sources to an easily customizable stream. Our team can then work on the issues together and react in seconds. Flowdock is also our water cooler, where we can chat about the day's events or last night's baseball game where the Yankees actually won. So here's a great quick video, and it's actually a Swedish product, so you have to bear with the accent a little bit. Maybe.
Hello, my name is Otto Hilska and I'm one of the co-founders of Flowdock, the most advanced team messenger. I'd like to share a glimpse to the work of our own software development team, using Flowdock, of course. Flowdock is a tool for teams' intense communication needs. Real-time discussion takes place on the right side of the page. To stay up to date about their project, a team usually follows several other tools such as wikis, issue trackers, version control, etc. In Flowdock, these are brought to an easily consumable stream. Our own team monitors the Flowdock brand using the real-time Twitter search. Now, one of our users seems to be having some problems with the latest Chrome browser. It immediately becomes part of our internal discussion as I start speculating about the origin of the problem. Reaction time for issues like this decreases from hours to seconds. After a while, William is done with the change. He simply pushes it to Get, and everyone else stays up to date through Flowdock's influx stream. Now the fix needs to be rolled out to a QA environment. I can easily see what was changed. Again, everyone sees when it's okay to start testing that change. Only seconds later, Camille already verified that it seems to work for her. And soon our continuous integration tool verified that the change didn't break anything else. So we're ready to go live. And there it goes. The customer will get an answer very quickly, and the team constantly knows what's happening. Michael notices that the happy customer is from a well-known social media startup. Because we're always gathering new testimonials for our website, Michael uses a hashtag to categorize his comment. Now it won't be forgotten. The same way Michael recorded this as a new testimonial, we could archive any piece of conversation or turn it into a to-do item. When I'm done, I'll just remove the tag.
So we use this not only in our technical group, but we also use this in sales marketing and customer support. Phenomenal tool. It's kind of a cross between Twitter, Yammer, chatting, etc. But everything's stored in a database and everything's saved. You can search on anything as well. There's seats in the front if you want to come in.
Plenty of room down here.
Yeah, don't be rude. Come on, let's go. So the next cloud I'm going to talk to you is about our infrastructure cloud. This is where we've saved a huge cost savings. We use Amazon Web Services, or AWS, as our utility computer and storage system. And we run our entire company on AWS. And we've been doing this since Amazon beta this product, I think 4 years ago now. And our Vice President of Technology has kind of wrote the standard book on cloud computing and how to set up your cloud computing. Amazon Web Services is like a power utility, supplying electricity to your home. You have a meter, and you only pay for what you use. This is sort of a radical concept of using your own data center. Instead of power, we have access to Amazon's cloud computing service and its many components, including servers, storage, databases, and they recently introduced something called Cloud Search. So we have basically a cloud search utility now that we can embed in all our products to do search, which will index terabytes of data. The advantage for news text is there's no upfront capital cost. We pay as you go, and we pay for what we use. And then we get a breadth of services we could never afford. Amazon also offers us global scale, but more importantly, redundancy. We have our system running in the US East zone region and the US West regions. Within each region, we can further break this down by zones. So if the US East region goes down, we simply switch over to the US West region. We could extend this to Europe and Asia if we wished as well. We only pay for the service if we use it. Huge savings over traditional data centers. We need to purchase the hardware up front and have it standing by just in case. It's also not on our premises, it's in the cloud. We also use something called Team Dropbox. I'm sure a lot of you use individual Dropbox, but Team Dropbox is a relatively new product from Dropbox, where we share all our files amongst the team. Everyone in our company uses it, and we also use it to back up all of our files. I store all my files on Dropbox, so everything is accessible from my desktop, my laptop, my iPhone, or my iPad. All my files are backed up in the cloud, so I never have to worry about my device being lost, crashed, or stolen. So on the mobile side, we are building more and more mobile apps. Our mobile tools become very important. We use something called Hockey App to distribute beta versions of our apps and to collect live crash reports from beta and production apps, because Apple doesn't give you live crash reports whatsoever. As we saw before with the lean startup method of build, measure, learn, your mobile app is never done, ever done. It's always changing, and you're always learning, adding, and fixing. The key to all this is measurement, is analytics, and for mobile that has been a real adventure for us. There are many analytic tools for mobile. We tried one of these, which is called Flurry, but there was no support, and they use your data to build their own ad network, which we got a little turned off by. We next moved to Localytics, which was a great product, a little expensive, but they had good support, but the reports were not very friendly. And there's a bunch of others on this list that are familiar web analytics, but on the mobile side, not very strong right now. And we happened to come across a company about 6 months ago called Mixpanel, which we fell in love with. So Mixpanel is now our tool of choice for mobile analytics. Awesome reports and lots of flexibility. Another benefit of Mixpanel is you can use it both for mobile and for web. We're in a little tool right now that allows you to do both and do both effectively. This conversion report here is called a funnel report, and it shows what users have viewed a page, then viewed a sign-up page, then actually signed up, and then made a purchase. You can see each stage of the transaction where people are falling off. This is key to tweaking your app to improve purchases registration. And this runs real time for us on the mobile world, which is actually pretty hard to do. This is an example of what we call retention report, which is really hard to see. But it shows you how many people registered for your app on a particular week, and then week by week, you can see going across the top there, how many have dropped off. So you're left with, after 12 weeks, you've got 26% left who originally were registered on that date. So this is really key if you're trying to update your app and change your app and try to make changes to see what you can do to keep people using your app and retain growth and usage. So these examples show how we leverage the business cloud with no commitments, no minimums, instant scale. We can try things and then throw them away and then try them again. What you need to ponder are the new startups who used to raise $5 million. They used to spend $3 million on technology. Now they raise $1 million and spend $50,000 on technology and spend the rest on product innovation and marketing. So if you thought Web 2.0 companies were fast, wait till you see the mobile-first companies I talked about yesterday with this kind of startup money and this kind of cloud potential and the way they're going to innovate and change the markets, especially markets you're in. You got to think about that. Thank you.